So I was trying to come up with ideas and trying to be creative about the project that we're gonna do next for this channel, and I can't come up with a dang thing right now. I started to look back, get some inspiration, and get inspired from the people that I followed from the beginning. If you are feeling like you need some inspiration, maybe these are gonna be the artists that could help spark an idea or creative idea for your next project. By all means, we're not talking about copying their work, plagiarizing and taking their work and making it and calling it our own. That's definitely not what we want to do here. But the idea is to take inspiration and get inspired from these people. Don't take other people's work from Pinterest, anything like that you see, and just download it and call that your own work. We want to avoid that. Take inspiration, little bits of pieces from here and there, put it all together and somehow becomes your work. And recently I've been reading this book called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. It just sums it up nicely with what I'm talking about here. I'm working through it right now, but it basically says that every idea comes from other ideas. So nobody is really original in coming up with something. You pull ideas from other people, and as your collection grows, morphs and absorbs into yourself, and then that becomes your work, your original work. Give that a read. I think you guys might like it. So these are going to be my top 3 artists that I followed when I first started doing stained glass work, and I want to share that with you guys. There are so many that I love and follow as well, but I'm just going to narrow it down to just the 3 right now that really got me inspired when I first started. So the first one is Janelle Fu. She has been an awesome artist that I look up to. From the very beginning, I saw her work. She was probably one of the first ones. A lot of her work, you can see, has a lot of geometric shapes, just very clean lines and polished work. I just don't think that there's any room for improvement. So that is kind of what I want to strive for, and I want my projects to look like, and make your project as good as you can, as smooth for your beads as you can, and try to get the lines to be as straight as you can. Just little minor details that kind of stand out every time you look at her project. The color palette also is an important thing. You can see that it's more muted. There's a little bit more pastel colors and maybe not as vibrant as some other artists. Has this subtle feel to it, and it just all comes together really nicely. So I love her work. If you really look deep into it, she doesn't do a lot of pieces for her projects, but each of these are just excellent quality work. Looking at her work just inspired me to want to make something like that, and felt like I could possibly get to her level at some point. And also, I think the most important thing was that I saw her work as something that was super modern and had a really modern feel to it versus the old traditional stained glass work that you see in church windows. So she definitely is one of the first ones in the game and one of the top ones. And the next person that I followed is Adrian. His stuff is super awesome. It is a mixture of feathers, lots and lots and lots of feathers. That's kind of his specialty. The moons, the Hamsa hand, some of these sacred geometries. When I was starting out, I was wanting to do some feathers of my own, and his was definitely an inspiration. I saw that he was doing his style of feathers, the exact same feathers over and over in different colors, different variations. And if you do that feather, everyone's gonna say that that's a Adrian feather. Don't make that mistake and copy somebody else's work. And the 3 feathers that I made, which is available to you guys, you can download that easily and you can just use that for practice and as you're getting started. Those 3 feathers, I sat down and decided to draw them up and try different variations to make sure that it didn't look like Collins, didn't look like any others that I saw out there. Once you look at something, you can close your eyes and then start trying to draw your own. Hopefully something changes in that and it becomes your own. Now, however, just also consider that a feather is a feather and will always be a feather. No matter what you do, it's gonna be very, very, very similar to somebody else's feather. And there are many, many artists out there that do make feathers. Anyways, please go download that if you need the template to practice on your own. But for Colin, I just love his vibe, like the whole page. I felt like this is somebody that I could follow and get inspired from. You just know right away that it's his work when you see one. So that's kind of my hope, is that in the future I will be able to make something that could become that signature, that piece of work. When you see it, you can just call it and say, yes, that is theirs. Another big artist that would come across your page if you check out Stained Glass on Instagram would be Debbie Bean. She definitely has her style and a whole thing of her own. So you'll see that her page is very, very vibrant. She plays around with a lot of the rainbow colors, but very vivid rainbow colors. And if you see her work, you'll know exactly that that's Debbie Bean's work. She does lead work all around to frame the borders. Everything is just clean, straight, smooth lines with the lead work. That makes me want to get better at maybe doing the lead came installs in my work. So artists like her gives me inspiration to want to make these projects, and it doesn't have to be overly complicated. It could be straight lines, straight cuts, geometric shapes that come together and they just look fantastic. So as we're getting inspired and as we're trying to come up with ideas, I'd like to get your input on this, get your guys' help on what we're gonna do next for our project. So please leave a comment and let me know what projects you want me to make next. So anything that you think would be fun or cool to make, I will go ahead and make them. Now, if you want to do stained glass and you want to get started and do it on your own, we have kits available, of course, at stainedglassdiy.com/shop. Please check that out if you want to get into stained glass and do your own work. All right, with that said, thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the comments and let's pick a project.